And of course, I get something stuck as soon as I do that. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to give other people a chance to kind of chime in. We sent the invitation out to the list of 7 or 8 individuals that was recommended initially, and received confirmations back from 2, I think, or 3, who said that they would try to be at the session today. We sent the reminder out, and this is a response we've gotten so far. There's 4 individuals online, so we can approach it a couple of ways. Julie, you've been involved in the conversations throughout, so I'm not real sure that we necessarily need to rehash through what we've been, where we've been, and where we're trying to get to from this perspective. But so we'll just kind of hang on for a few and just kind of keep chatting for another few minutes. And if nobody comes on board, then Julie, what we can actually do is maybe you and I can just get together and start to do some planning in terms of, how can the library system or the Crown Point Library specifically and extension, what kind of programming opportunities do we have to get that we can look forward to? Because Mary has offered to continue to be involved in the process, but since she's way over yonder, 2 counties over, felt a little, not necessarily out of place, but there are other things that she could be doing at this time to better serve her community. I hope I'm not speaking out of school there, Mary.
No, that's fine. I love having these conversations and learning a lot about Crown Point Library and the school systems and all that over here in Lake County.
Where are you at?
I'm in LaPorte.
Oh, okay.
So, yep, our office is in LaPorte. I actually live in Porter County, so
okay.
In the middle.
The LaPorte Public Library?
Yep, Fonda and
yeah, great. Yep. She's a good friend of mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's on our extension advisory committee, so she gets to know us a little bit better, and we've had a lot of conversations with her and do some programming more in the health region, but we're starting to get more in the other ones too.
Mm-hmm. We had talked recently with a group of directors about partnerships with libraries with Purdue Extension and how that was going or not going, and so we were having a discussion about that just in the last couple of weeks, actually, and people sharing their experience with that. And I know for us, it's difficult, but I know I think for funding reasons, I know they pulled back and we're trying to do more classes at your location, Lupe. Instead of doing individual classes at all the different libraries and such. But I don't know how the attendance has gone there, but I know we'd had interest in those classes here, but then they started canceling them if they had less than a certain amount of people signed up, and then they went to having them on the premise over there. And I don't know how many people are showing up at that type of way, but because I find that our residents, I think, were not happy about going further.
I'm going to plead or play ignorant right here and say, which type of classes are we talking about?
Mostly the ones that, why am I forgetting her name? Linda Curley.
Okay, so like the HHS classes, the nutrition classes, the dieting class, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would say as we're community development, we have a little different, like how many people or some. I've done classes with less than 5, just depending on the situation. So it really depends on what Lupe and you decide, kid. Because I like to go to places. I don't like, our office is by the fairgrounds, but I like to go into a community. So.
Right, yeah. So we promote the programs like on our bulletin board and stuff, but yeah, it's been different since we don't really have any of those programs here at the library anymore because of the nature of doing them for a region. Which for my patrons over on Crown Point side, they probably wouldn't be so, adamant about not going. I think that Lake County was doing them too, but I think you'd be hard pressed to get anybody besides like the Maryville and Crown Point people being willing to travel to that location for a class like that, especially a weekly class.
Where exactly is the Crown Point Library?
We're right off the square.
North, south, east, west?
We're right across from McDonald's, Lupe.
Oh, okay. I know where that is now. You're on the north side.
That's how I deal with directions too. McDonald's, a tree that looks funny. Yeah. North.
Yeah, I have to think about it, but no, yeah. So we're nestled in between McDonald's and behind us is the fire station. So
Okay, in that newer looking facility.
In a really beautiful building, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've been here about 8 years, so it's a 3-story building, so it's pretty imposing. We're right across from,
Yeah,
really, we're truly right across from those high-rise, kind of, not high-rise, but the 3-story condos that went up a number of years ago that look really new and pretty across the
okay.
street, so, but yeah.
So you're right before all the sidewalk dining locations start.
Exactly, and it causes us a huge issue with parking because our lot in front of us is a municipal lot, and here comes Katie, a municipal lot, and it is all day free parking. So a lot of the staff of the restaurants actually park there early in the day and don't
Yeah.
leave all day long. So been trying to work out a solution for that.
Well, they figured to get there before the library opened up, so they should be able to stay there all day.
Yeah, they do. A lot of business people are parking there, and it's not even the patrons of the restaurants and stuff, which drives me insane. 'Cause at least
Yeah.
they come and go.
So as a library, is there a certain program that you're not able to offer that you would love to be able to offer?
You know, I think that the programs that they would really be interesting is the and I talked to Linda about this when it first came out, like, you know, Instapot and the slow cooker, kind of like those kind of classes I would think would fill up like crazy. Of course, not right now, but definitely would be very popular. But some of the stuff, I think, like the one class that I think she was doing for a while was the brain health one.
Right.
And I think I started thinking about that. And I think the people that really need it don't come to it, and the people that see it don't want to think about needing it, so they don't want to come
Right.
to it. You know what I mean? So I think it's a great one, but we did not have a lot of people taking them up on it because I think it was the fear based of like, I don't want to even think about that kind of stuff.
Right. Right, because if I do it now, then I'm going to forget what I'm supposed to be doing when I actually need it.
Right. I actually wanted to take her up on, we had talked about it, and I was busy when I had no program person. We have a lot of the special needs groups that usually come into the library and come in for movies and stuff. And I think we have the space that would be really great to do programming for those groups that have like the, what's it called? The day groups where people, you know, drop their adult children off. So they sometimes come for a movie or something, but we don't have enough to keep them busy. And I think it would really be cool to have like regular programming for them in a place like us. I see Katie's on.
Yeah, I do too. Yep, there's
Sorry, I was having a little trouble connecting.
That's okay. You're on board now. How's your new superintendent treating you?
How's he doing?
How's he treating you? We know how he's doing.
Oh.
How he's treating you.
He's fine. I mean, I don't worry about it a whole lot, to be honest. I think nobody really cares about the CFO unless you don't have any money. That's only the
Right.
time that anybody really cares. So I think I'm not a low-hanging fruit for him.
Yeah,
which is fine.
keep us solvent, keep us liquid, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, so that's always good, you know. It's better than the alternative of having someone who thinks that they know everything they need to about finance, when the reality is I don't even know everything I need to know, and I do it every day. So,
Right.
so no, everything's fine. So I guess nobody showed up except us, huh?
Yeah, I was telling the group earlier, we sent the invitations out several times to different people, and I was expecting, because Lisa Beckett indicated she would be able to join us, but of course things changed on her schedule as well, so it's just going to be it's the 5 of us for right now. But what we were talking about doing was, you know, in the interest of our time or your time, to go ahead and to, you know, cut the session probably short, because we've been having the conversation back and forth. And then what I can do is I can just reach out probably individually to you and to Julie, and just have the conversation we've been trying to have along as a group, and see what we can start to do with, you know, at that smaller level. Because I will take this as an indicator, 2 possibilities. One, the community that we reached out to may not have been the right community of interest. 2, they may not there may not be the willingness on their part to participate in a session like this right now because of time. And three, I'm not real sure what the third reason would be for people not taking part, other than not something I need right now. So really, I think that not necessarily apathy, but the lack of interest at this point, I think is more the driver. And so in terms of trying to get something that's going to serve the entire community, we did come into a smaller focus group environment. The smaller focus group was not able to convene except for us. And so it may be time to just, to personalize it, if you will. And at this point, with Mary having been as involved as she's been throughout the course of the season, but being over in LaPorte County, she and I had been talking, and we had kind of said that probably would be, where I would be the one to kind of pick up more with Julie and with you, Katie, to talk more specifically about what can we at Extension be doing, if there is anything that we can be doing to help support your organization, and just kind of grow from there.
And I would also recommend that we can take the questions that we had started and that what you guys had come up with, and you can send those to those individuals to see if they'll respond in that way. We can try many different ways to try to reach out.
I hate to be cynical, but my concern is that it's more number three. That, I think for some people there's, time is always a thing, but I also think you make time for what's important, and maybe they don't get the value yet. I think there's some people that just think like, there's no need for coordination. I do think that is an element. I'll never understand that for the life of me. But I'm not necessarily shocked by it based on some interactions I've had, in just the 4 years I've been here. And I'm sure Julie probably has some similar. So, we work well together. Julie and I do. I don't mind. And maybe it's trying to grab people one person at a time, one group at a time, to have different conversations. I don't know. I do think there's a benefit, but like you, I don't want to waste anybody's time either. If people aren't interested, then what's the purpose then?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think, it is it's a variation of that where, people have found their circle of influence, if you will, and they know what it is they like to do. They know the people they like to do it with, and maybe they don't feel the need or the desire to expand from that circle. And so if my organization is serving these 75 people and we do it fairly well and we don't get yelled at too much by other people and stuff, we're going to go ahead and continue to do that, because I don't know if I want to serve 150. I'm happy with 75, which is fine. So far be it for us to come in as Purdue Extension to say, you have to do it better, you have to do it bigger. That's not really the point, though. The point is to be effective with what you do, and if there's a role that we can be playing to help you become more effective, then that's what we want to be doing. So yeah, maybe what we can do is we can, as Mary suggested, take those questions. We can Qualtrics it, Mary. We can create an online survey, if you will, that will kind of be an open-ended approach to send out to people, and send out to we can send it to you all, and you all can send it out to other people, within your organizations, to your friends, to your family, if you will, just to kind of get that perspective as to what sorts of things can or should we be looking to do in the Crown Point area. And that may be as fair a follow-up to these conversations as any for right now. Because I think, again, as I was saying earlier on to Mary, the sense of needing to reach out and touch people in the course of the pandemic situation, I think has lessened to a degree, or has raised to a different level of concern. And so there's not as much, as much of a survival, a feeling of anxiety and angst that, we're never going to get through this. I think people are starting to say, okay, well, yeah, I can kind of get back to normal. So in the midst of this abnormality.
Yeah. I just always, and some of this I get, I think, from working for Michael Griffin so long in Highland, I don't even look at it as a different way to do business. It's just connecting. I just feel like this would be a benefit to the people we serve. Even things Julie and I have worked through, like, hey, why are you guys trying to push people through your online program that need a GED or want to go through adult ed? The library has this program. Like, just knowing where people should go, what resources are available, like when you get somebody who needs your help that you literally have, you can understand, okay, well, he's going to need to talk to the park department at the city. Not because I can't just give him the number to the city, but it's going to make him happier that he knows right where he needs to be, and he's not going to get the phone shuffle. But not everybody sees it that way. And, you know, that's their right. I just think it's unfortunate, but, you know, perhaps we can add pieces at a time for people we know personally to still make it productive in a different way.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and
Go ahead, Julie.
I would say also that I know sending out the invites and stuff via email, but we did not do any personal invites, you know, in person. And so I think that there might be some connections that we could do with the people that we had suggested, you know, that if we already have personal relationship with them, to get them up to speed with what kind of the idea of the program is and kind of talk them through it. I think that would probably, we should, before we say we're done and out, then I think we should have conversations with some of those people to see if they would be interested, if they understood what we were trying to get at a little bit more through a conversation.
That's a good idea, and I'm not adverse, Julian and Katie. I am not adverse to meeting, whether it be a sit down if that permits, or even the way we're doing it now, where you and another person, and we have that 3-person conversation to kind of bring people along that way. I mean, that if it brings value to that individual in terms of at least informing him or her as to what opportunities might be there.
If you wouldn't mind, Libe, could you send an email? I don't know if I have a list of the people that we had targeted. And there's some of them I know that I suggested. I'm thinking that I need to do the harder work of actually making time to go and, make a date for coffee or something with some of them and think, because I do see some of those groups trying to do some collaboration. Katie, I mean, I've seen some of those groups that are on the square working collaboration for when they're bringing donuts to the teachers. There is a spirit of wanting to collaborate. It's just that there's not anybody taking, any leadership in it. So I think that the desire is there. So I think that we probably just need to take it a little bit more to the personal level with some of these.
No, I would agree. And I think you're right. I think they want to do it. And I don't know how you feel, but it drives me insane when they just show up at a building with stuff and don't let us know so that we can prepare people and try to coordinate. And I don't want to dictate the help they want to do, but sometimes the place they're going or they don't know the intricacies of our organization. So when you want to do something that's important for kids, the needs at MacArthur are a heck of a lot different than the needs at Eisenhower. And it's just because it is, the demographics different, the socioeconomics everything's different. It's just helping them to understand us, so that we can understand together where to go.
Right.
But, we have the same challenge with PTOs, to be honest. So, I mean, it just exists. It's,
right.
People want to help, and I love that. And it's just figuring out how do we do that while still making sure we're not duplicating and we're giving people the most bang, for their buck, even if that's a donut buck or, whatever, just making sure it's having a good impact.
Yeah.
And also recognizing them appropriately, because sometimes they go in and we don't even know at central office. So like if we're going to recognize at a board meeting, then we run the risk that we recognize, Julie Wendorf because she did X, but like we left off, Bree. Yeah, because we didn't know. Because it doesn't always get back here. And then we look like, we don't know what's going on. So it's, it's a delicate balance for sure.
I definitely think that we should, and maybe Katie, that's something we'll just coordinate and look at the list of people and we just, whoever we know and have relationships with, we just kind of say, hey, this is kind of what we're thinking. And maybe we can host an in-person program here at the library like that, just kind of sit down or something, because we could do it socially distanced in the meeting rooms that are open, the meeting rooms, and we don't have anything going on there. So I think it's one of those things that maybe we just have to rethink after we have personal conversations, and then after we've had them and see if they're interested, then we say be willing to have.
I actually wrote on my to-do list to go back through the list.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, anything else?
No, I think that's probably good for now. I think the sense that I'm getting then is we will look at the list again and get it in a presentable format, because right now it's just a spreadsheet. So we'll get it set up and we'll send it out to you all so that you can take a look at it and you can kind of individual project, if you will, just kind of between the two of you, let's say, go ahead and decide, who you want to talk with. Just keep me informed as, when you'd like for me to come out and do whatever it is you'd like for me to do and stuff. So I'm kind of at your beck and call in this sense. Julie, we were talking about a lot of the HHS, the Health and Human Sciences programming that had been happening in the library system. There are some things that we can do, whether it be through 4-H or other things, Julie, Katie, that can kind of help the students in the school. There's even professional development things that we might be able to do with teachers in terms of, leadership development, things to that effect. And, so we can have that conversation even within your own organizations and stuff. So, give some thought to, not only what's good for the community, but think of you're part of the community as well. So think about, what are some of the needs that you would like to have addressed in terms of your organization. Also, you've been very gracious and very civic minded in terms of thinking of the other people, but I think it's perfectly fair for you, the two of you, to think about yourself and your organization and what is it that Extension can maybe try to do to help your organization along the way.
Sounds great.
Okay, and then Mary and I will keep consulting in the background to kind of move the process along as we go through. What I'll probably do is I'll put this on the semi-back burner after we get that information out to you all. And I'll just kind of reach out to Julie and to Katie in about two, maybe 3 weeks, just to kind of see where we are at that point in time. So looking at tail end of October before we hear back from me officially in the capacity. You have my number, you have my email address. If there anything comes up in the interim, definitely reach out to me and give me a holler and we'll pick up from there.
Awesome.
Great.
Okay, anything
Thank
else, Mary,
you.
from your end? Sounds like we're good.
I'm good.
Appreciate it.
Katie,
Have a great day.
Katie, before you go, am I going to see you at Rotary? Dr. Terrell's speaking today at Rotary.
I am going to come to Rotary because I know he's speaking today.
All right, perfect. I'm glad to see your face.
I spoke
All
a
right,
couple
I'll
weeks
see you
ago. You
then.
didn't come to see me.
I didn't know you were there, but he's my boss. So actually I wasn't getting the Rotary emails. I had to call Danny because they had a combination of my personal email and my work, and I wasn't getting any of the emails. So I didn't even know where the meetings were.
And Lupe, I'm going to back her up on that because I had a conversation at our social last week about that very thing, Katie. They were talking about how your email is debacle. So she didn't know you were going to be there. But I did know, and that's why I came to see you, Lupe.
But you didn't call Katie up to let her know, hey, are you?
I'm thinking actually when I see Katie today, I want to get her texting because I don't have her personal contact information. So I was thinking about texting her today to say if she was coming today.
Oh, you don't have my cell phone number?
I don't, so we'll get it today.
Okay.
Yeah, but I thought I would have texted you last week to say, hey, I thought of it, and then I didn't have time to call you over there.
So this
All
is
right.
one positive outcome that came from the session today. We were able to connect the two of you at least
Yes.
in that medium, and we clarified what the email addresses are. So that's where the communication had been falling apart.
Exactly.
That one. So
Perfect.
we did some good before we left today.
Great. All right.
Have a good afternoon. We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
We'll talk to you later too. Thanks.